Okay, so Ryan Hood, here we are. The end of ABA Season 1. And we've got a little bit of catching up to do. A little bit of a fines meeting, some values that we have about hunting. And we just want to let you guys have a little bit of insight into our thoughts behind the scenes and some of the highlights from the season.
Yeah, it's a bit sad for it to be all over.
I know, time flies.
I hope you guys are a bit sad too, because that means we've produced something maybe worth watching.
Yeah.
I hope you guys got a chance to see who we are and what our values are coming from the Eastern Cape in South Africa. And hopefully this little interview here for our final episode of Season 1 can shed a little bit more light on that, and also about what we're going to do in the future.
No, it doesn't stop here. We've got a couple of questions. I'm not going to give away quite yet what's to come, but we've only just started. We've got a whole lot of exciting things, prospects down the line, and we're going to get into that.
Yeah, Season 2, it's going to happen.
Well, I've got my questions coming up.
Alright, so we just prepared a couple of questions to catch each other out a bit. I don't know what Clayton's going to ask me, and he doesn't know what I'm going to ask him. So, we get into it.
Yeah. So how it's going to work probably is Ryan's going to catch me out, and I'm going to ask more down the line questions. So I think let's start off slow, and I'm going to go with the first question.
I just want to show you a little scene on the laptop over here.
Are you going for it first?
You can see in the scene here, I've snuck up to within 25 yards from a few warthogs, and I've got some beautiful footage of them having a drink and a little wallow and walking out.
That's good.
And can you tell the viewers why I didn't shoot one?
So Ryan would bring up probably the most embarrassing scenario first off the bat, question 1. I was going to be honest, that footage that you're watching now is actually probably sore and more painful to watch for Ryan, but heck of embarrassing, and I actually felt really bad. So lesson number 1, that trigger is so important if you want to shoot this bow. I arrived in the morning and it was my turn to shoot, and when we were about 2 kilometers up into the mountains, I realized that my trigger was not in my bag or on my arm. So, find number 1. Ryan ended up giving me his trigger, and I put on a stalk, and I got in probably about 20 yards from these pigs that took off, and we were communicating on some radios, and Ryan's radio ran out of battery, and basically what happened is he ended up on another part of the mountain, I was on another part of the mountain, we couldn't find each other, and Ryan started making his way back up the valley, and he was walking back by himself. He had his Hoyt Hyperforce in his hand, he had his arrows, he had his multi-troker HBs, he was kitted out. He arrived at this waterhole, and as the footage shows, these pigs came walking out, and Ryan didn't have a trigger. At this point he was probably crying. I was standing on the other side of the mountain, I couldn't find Ryan. I was trying to double back to find him, and the last thing I heard on the radio before the radio died was, "I need my trigger, the pigs are right here." He even tried to go to full draw holding the strings, but he thought that it was too unethical, and rightly so, that if he had taken a shot, he had the arrow in, the broadhead there, just...
You're throwing spice here now. The bow was on the backpack the whole time.
Not there. So anyway, that was my biggest disaster, and the saddest thing of this was the second time that I'd done it in that season, during the season. So right. I had Ryan's trigger.
All is forgiven, don't worry.
Anyway, won't make a mistake again.
I just sulked my way back to the truck, or as a buggy we like to call it, and ate all of Clayton's snacks.
This is true. Shucks, okay. Well, I'm gonna hit one of my ones for you then. My first question was, after that low light, what was your highlight moment for you during the season?
Yeah, what is the highlight? I think it's hard to. I mean, I just asked my wife this question the other night, which episode was her favorite, and she answered me. I think she said the second one, the Impala hunt.
Yeah, the Matrix bug.
The Matrix bug.
It's powerful.
And for me, I found it very difficult to think of one highlight when the whole trip was just a massive highlight, a massive learning curve. But if there was one moment that I could relive, it would be the Nyala scene.
Yeah.
Where standing, waiting for an Impala ram to walk out.
Yes, that was wild.
And it gives me chills just thinking about it. And at 15 or 18 yards, whatever it was, Nyala bull, cracker of a specimen too, walked out grazing, didn't know we were there at all, and stood right in the way of the Impala. It was so close I could let down the bow without the Impala running away. And you could see the wildness in that Nyala's eyes even. Yes. So close, right?
It was incredible. I think you hit the nail on the head that when you take the time to get out into the bush in Africa, even if you don't come away with any animals or food, you're going to come away with the most epic memories.
Yeah, for sure.
And that happens time and time again.
It happened every day.
We get home and we didn't even pull a shot. We didn't even put an arrow inside on the shaft.
Yeah.
Or what's right? We didn't put an arrow.
We didn't knock an arrow.
We didn't knock an arrow. But there was always a story. There's always a memory. And the thing is those memories will stay with you until you're an old man. And those stories you'll tell your grandchildren.
Yeah. Yeah, it is epic. I mean, when you get within 40, 50 yards of any wild animal that doesn't know you're there, special stuff is bound to happen that you don't experience with a rifle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So after taking it easy on you on the first question,
I don't know where these are going to go.
It was a season of learning with hunting with cameras in hand.
Difficult task.
And we made a few rookie mistakes along the way. And in the scene here, we glassing for bushback. There's a bow on your lap and binoculars in hand, and got some nice brand new boots. But where was your release? Just kidding. We made a few rookie errors, and after your bushback shot, you were really pumped, really excited. Your spirit really comes out.
Yeah.
It's epic to be around. So much passion. But how come you had to narrate over the footage? What happened there?
Tell you what, we've got these road mics. It's a shout out to the road guys. Forgot to turn the microphone on.
Oh man.
So probably one of the most disappointing things. So we filmed this footage and think you've captured the most incredible moments, just raw passion. You get back home and we're looking at this footage 2-3 weeks later, and you go on, there's no sound. Check the computer, you plug it in, you reconnect everything, put it into another computer, still no sound. And that's when you realize that on the back of the microphone you have to turn it on. Simple.
Yep.
And so I mean we lost probably some of the most incredible footage of the season. It didn't happen once.
Some of the best
raw emotion.
Unfortunately, I think just the excitement of getting in the bush.
It's just another thing to think of.
Often the camera is just like your second priority, really.
Exactly.
When instead of just taking a clear minute to make sure everything's in order.
So I mean, I think you touched on something. You said we learned a lot, and we learned a lot about bow hunting. We learned a lot about making sure you have your equipment, your archery equipment with you. And then a whole different sphere that we had to learn about was the actual cinematic side of it. Our cameras, our camera gear, the audio. And that let us down a few times. So season 2,
hopefully.
Hopefully we're going to have some more raw emotion coming to you guys. Not only just voiceovers.
Yeah.
So
you gotta make lemonade as lemons, what do they say?
yeah, exactly, and that's what we try to do. We brought you hopefully what you guys think has been some good films, but it's only the start. We can do much better.
I think we did okay.
Oh, we did well. I think we definitely made some lemonade with those lemons. Yeah. Okay, my question. So, one of the things that I loved about this, we just chatted about how some of the raw emotion wasn't caught, but on the other hand, we did catch some raw emotion. And for Ryan, some of it was some seriously deep, sad raw emotion. So my question, which is tagging on his heartstrings, I won't get right to it, but I'm going to ask him, what was his lowest moment in this season?
It's probably not the one you're thinking of. It's probably a toss-up. I mean, editing with me afterwards, how
reliving those moments,
how hard it was to relive those mistakes.
Just for you guys there, I just want to tell you that we'd watch these films on the computer and Ryan would be bending over, he would almost have tears wanting to come out of his eyes, he would have his fists clenched, and he was reliving those moments, the good moments which were epic, but some of those sad moments, disappointing moments.
It literally makes me almost convulse with, like, not regret, but I don't know, passion, or I don't know what
I think
it is,
passion is probably the right thing.
I just wish that I could rewind the tape and not make a mistake that I did. So I mean, that's bowhunting, right? You're just going to learn so much all the time about not just how to shoot, but also to shoot something that's moving. Something that's alive, something that's way more in tune with nature than what we are. They in their surroundings every day, they're surrounded by predators every day, and they're awake. I mean, I think the point you were alluding to just now was the springbuck, where I had a little moment with myself.
You'll see it there on the footage.
Afterwards, that aloe branch was just 3 centimeters too high, but too low at least, and I lubricated my arrow with it instead of piercing through the springbuck, which, I mean, a springbuck walk and stalk was my pinnacle almost. To nail that animal would have really been a list topper. But next year I'll try again.
I think what's important is to give a bit of background for those of you. It's different if you're out in South Africa all the time and you've got opportunity and you're not working, you can just get out there in the bush and you can go for a hunt after work. But we've got a few days in that environment where we're hunting. And we hunt all over the world. We do other African-born adventures, fishing, and we're going to be bringing you all sorts of different episodes. We can chat about that later.
Letting the truth out now.
But the context builds up the emotion. So we're there for a short time, and we know that the clock's ticking, and that springbuck might have been our only opportunity for another 365 days. I think the guys that go elk hunting, that you guys have a limited time hunting in the US, you guys can understand this.
That's true.
But for some other South Africans that can go back tomorrow or the next week, and they've got day after day, you might not get that same sense of we have to make it happen now that we had. And that's where that emotion's coming from. It's that disappointment is because we might not be hunting again in that environment for a while.
I think that springbuck was our second last day of hunting, and we hadn't really got a lot of success on film in that hunt.
Pressure was building.
And we had been, within inside 15-20 yards of some kudu.
That morning.
And we've blown a few stalks, and it was just an avalanche of emotion. But I think my biggest regret comes in the last episode with the zebra hunt. I was so pumped up for it, and I learned a big lesson from it, from my shooting position. I mean, it was open country, there was nothing to hide behind, and I stalked within 50 yards of the zebra without it noticing me until I eventually stood up. But I shot it off my knees with my body kind of straight.
You weren't in that strong position?
I wasn't in a strong position at all, and the wind was blowing really hard, and there was a severe, like almost a 45-degree angle slope shooting off. So it was very unstable platform. And I just wish I'd missed the zebra instead of hitting it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately pulled the shot by a couple feet at that range and hit him through the neck. And yeah, I was disgusted with myself, as you can see in the video. And I wasn't going to go and chase it down and shoot it with the bow again once I put that arrow in, because my good mate there had a rifle available and I just can't do that. So I'll rather just shoot it straight away instead of letting it run around with the wound.
I don't know if this is coming, but this seems like a really natural and appropriate time just to go on to the subject that we're really passionate about, because a lot of what we're doing is we wanting to bring you guys just some entertainment after a long day of work, and just something that will put a smile on your guys' faces. That's one big aspect. But the other aspect that we're really trying to push is that we want to bring awareness to the subject of hunting, and hunting is ethical, hunting is conservation. So I don't know, do you want to just build a little bit
on that? Where I live in Eastern Cape, because the Eastern Cape is quite a big province, or in the States, you call it the States.
Yeah.
It's quite big, and the terrain varies a lot, as you can see through our episodes, depending on where you're hunting. And a lot of those farms we're hunting on didn't have wild game on them a couple years, well not a couple, but maybe a couple decades ago.
Yeah.
So growing up as a youngster, there weren't things to look at like these zebras and that. They've all been chased off, shot off, poached off, they're gone. Yeah. And it's only through professional management methods that game farmers have kind of started to use. They've reintroduced these animals. So animals like zebra and wildebeest and even in some areas kudu, warthogs, believe it or not. These animals are all coming and rehabituating the land there.
The reason why, so Africa obviously 1,000 years ago, animals roaming across the land.
Really, yeah.
So farmers come in and cities come in. So when cities come in, we have to think of safety. So what do? We have to take out the predators, your lions, your leopards, cheetahs, so they lose land. The secondly is that when we start building the city, we take a lot of the food that runs from the habitat. So suddenly these animals are pushed further and further away and smaller and to different areas because they can't eat there. But then there's the other part, there's the farms. Now Ryan speaks about inside the zebra video how a zebra will eat 2 times the amount of food as a cow does. So a farmer has to make an income for their family. So you have wild game that's competing with livestock.
Yeah.
So the answer is, for the farmer, is that they have to take out and kill the wild game.
Yeah.
So you end up with farms that have got sheep, cattle, goats, crops possibly, but the indigenous animals have been pushed out.
Yeah.
So the numbers actually start dwindling. So that kind of gives a bit of background to where this conversation continues.
Yeah, and what a lot of people don't understand is that this land is privately owned, right?
Yeah.
And the farmers are using it to generate income to support their families.
Yeah.
And they employ a lot of people to do that as well. So they're not bound to keep wild animals on their farm if they're causing them loss. Like you can't have a lion wandering around your sheep pen. They're just going to slaughter everything. So it's something that we need to understand and research, and not just look at a picture of someone who's shot a lion and say, you're an evil so-and-so for shooting a lion. Meanwhile, a lion hunt, conserves so much territory and land in Africa for other wild animals and creates so many jobs that it's an essential way of life today.
So what's happened now is, so to give you the context of South Africa, 3% of South Africa is national park. So that means that that's protected area that these wild animals are living. They don't have cities that are putting pressure on them. They don't have farmers putting pressure on them.
Yeah.
But 97% of the country is areas that have people and farmers putting pressure on the habitats, and the animal numbers are dwindling. But what Ryan was mentioning now is there's been a turnaround where hunters, foreigners, local hunters, have been coming in and putting a value on these animals.
Mm-hmm.
So an animal has got value from a hunter, which means that the farmer that used to farm cattle or sheep or grow crops on that land is now suddenly saying, hang on, we can also earn an income, put our children through school by having the indigenous wild animals of Africa. So they're reintroducing these animals that were indigenous in the area. The animal numbers are growing up, the wildlife, and this is another area, it's not only the actual animals, the buck and the antelope, it's also the trees that start growing back, the indigenous trees, because if you're farming with crops, you're having to destroy all of the trees. Along with, if you take away the trees, it's your insects, it's your bees, it's your bird life.
Yeah, it's a huge chain reaction, and another big one in Africa is job creation.
That's
Game
a huge
farms employ way more staff than a farm that has been taken over or running by mechanization, and you know, it's just a deep rabbit hole to go down this way, and I'm passionate about it. I share a lot of this insight on Instagram with people who don't understand it, and yeah, it burns inside me to get the message out. The bottom line is, if you didn't hear anything that we just said, just come and hunt in Africa. It's really good, and we've got your back and we'll support you, and yeah, come and help us conserve our animals.
Yeah, I think those are the two main points. So I think these are the two main points. Hunting is increasing the amount of wild animals in Africa. The second point is hunting is creating so many jobs for the local African people who need work.
Who need income, you know. And these local Africans, I mean, I've read countless books about them. They used to hate these animals. They come in and destroy their houses and their crops like an elephant. I mean, elephants aren't how they appear on Disney or Jungle Book and all of this, where they're smiling and eating out of your hand. This is rubbish. That's not a wild animal.
Yeah.
These animals come in and they destroy stuff. They kill stuff even, and these local guys, that they don't like them.
Yeah.
Lions come in, kill your cattle. That's your livelihood. You can't love an animal that does that. But now they do. They realize there's a need to care for those animals because they can produce an income for them.
Yeah.
And my biggest point is, the only way Africa gets out of this poverty is through the Western way of generating money and getting an education for their children so that they can take a step out now and get different jobs in the real world.
Yeah.
Not that Africa is not the real world, but it's the world I prefer to live in.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Is it me or you? Okay, so going into next season, what will you do differently?
Loaded question. Excuse the pun. What should I do differently? Look, I don't have a lot of regrets about our preparation for this hunt, because
That's true.
We planned this thing ridiculously well, in that our equipment was perfect.
Yeah. Well,
we can't fault our... I'm saying
beforehand,
our equipment was perfect. Everything was broadhead tuned, the correct poundages, our arrows were well spined. We did ridiculous amounts of research into
put a lot
making
of
sure those arrows were grouping the best by getting them spined correct, not spined but also
spun correctly.
And we tested broadheads in ballistic gel.
Yeah.
To find out which ones would work the best for us. We shot at targets, lifelike 3D targets. The preparation beforehand was as good as we can do. I don't know if I would do anything differently before we leave for season 2. Because there's so much information online. With John Dudley is one good example.
That's true. We
so
learned
much stuff from. Hunting wise, I think I wouldn't do anything a lot different, except this time I'll be a lot more experienced and prepared for different animals, and which animals can string jump, which animals don't, and that will give us a lot more success, I think, in the future.
I think you hit a nail on the head there for one point. Is we spent mornings chasing impala that already knew that we're in the area.
Yeah.
A
that
waste
is
of
very
time.
simple.
You know, we could have, knowing what we know now, if those impala had just sniffed us, if they'd barked once, we would have just cut our losses there and said, let's move on.
That's a great point.
And I mean, we spent ages doing that.
I mean, we stalked in within 60 yards of I don't know how many impala.
Yeah.
And then once they've seen you and they snorted at you, an impala is the one animal that would never unlock his gaze at us.
Oh yeah, I mean, you sold this. It's game over.
You can't trick that animal.
Yeah.
He is incredible.
Yeah.
That animal is really. So that's a lesson learned there. All right. So this question, I thought you were about to ask it to me, but you didn't.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a puff adder. But what animal are you keen to hunt in season 2 next year, and why?
What is the trip about a puff adder?
Well, I mean, we did see in a little episode there you dancing like the cat on the hot.
I think he wants to bring it up because I don't like snakes.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of times that I've been caught jumping a couple of yards in fright. But anyway, that's another subject.
In Hong Kong and in Africa.
So, the animal I want to go after
Next year.
But, yeah, so that's a brilliant question. You know, you guys saw the bushbuck hunt, and I think that a bushbuck is probably the most special animal to me. It's an animal I've grown up in the Eastern Cape with that animal just been around us, and it's always been such a privilege to hunt a bushbuck.
Yeah.
And it's something that happens once only every few years. So if I could hunt a bushbuck
season 2.
Bushbuck season 2.
Redemption.
I've got some trail cams because I've chatted to a couple of guys who've said that there's a good chance that bushbuck's still running and out there. And I'm going to put up some trail cams. If I can find that bushbuck, that would be brilliant.
Season 2.
Season
Bushbuck
2.
Redemption.
Bushbuck Redemption. There we go. Okay. So this actually is a good follow-on. This question I've got.
Good segue.
My question is for this. Actually, for this question, I'm asking as a viewer.
Yeah.
The question is there anything else coming out from ABA? Or is it done till next season?
We're all done. It's done.
It's all
Are we
done?
done?
Never
No,
done.
never.
Never done.
Never done. We got a little trip to New Zealand planned in February. We're going to be hunting
Public land. Come on.
So we're going to be looking for a few tahr, chamois,
Red deer,
red deer,
some fellows,
anything.
and possibly a wallaby. We've got about 5 or 6 species.
Still debatable on that one.
No, we're still debating on that, but I think for me, number one, red deer. If I could go after red deer or tahr, it
Yeah.
would just be unbelievable.
We're going to be camping out in the bush there, if they have bush, or just, what do you call it in New Zealand, land?
Yeah, so we're going to be backcountry. We've got backpacks.
Yeah.
It's a proper what Americans would do as a backcountry hunt. We're taking all with us. We're going to be hiking in 20, 30 miles up into the mountains, and that's going to be it. We'll be in there for a couple of days, and
So mark it down, February,
we're going to have some good footage.
archery hunting in New Zealand.
Going to be wild.
And season 2, what about that? That's going to be on the cards coming
Well,
July.
season 2, we're going to be doing what we've done here. We're going to have more episodes. We've got some new ideas, some better ideas. We've got some new country.
And if you've got ideas, send them our way too.
Yeah, that's actually a great point.
Yeah.
We've also got some other ideas. We've got a lot of equipment, and we also want to chat about the equipment that we're using. We're going to give some reviews.
Give a few better reviews, yeah.
And
Feedback there.
And another point is we're called African Born Adventures because we do a whole lot more than just hunting.
Yeah.
So in the coming weeks, months, you guys are going to see some Mexico fishing, some Alaskan fishing trips that we've all been on, that we've been out there and we've done it. We're going to show you some fishing in Africa. We're going to make these action-packed. We're going to make these things that are entertaining, that you guys can sit down and can watch it. You're not going to be just watching a guy on the side of a rock. We're going to give you some stuff that is going to be entertaining.
Yeah.
We do some spearfishing as well. We've been out to Bali, to Indonesia, into some different islands, and so we got some exciting stuff. So you guys stay tuned. Tell your friends about this. We're just starting. This is a long haul. We want to build a channel that those guys that love outdoors, that you guys can sit down, you guys can have some entertainment. We know that it's something we love to do, so we're just giving back to the community.
Yeah, this isn't our job.
Yeah, this is just a hobby. We're just giving it back to you guys.
Yeah, having some fun.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
So you answered your question quite well there. Let me give you another one.
Was that my question? That was your question.
All right. So you're very passionate about the Eastern Cape. Tell us why, and if someone wants to come and share our passion for this land, what should they do?
The land of milk and honey. So I want to tell you guys, we've traveled the world, and the Eastern Cape of South Africa is probably one of the most special places. Firstly, the country is like none other. It's got incredible diversity. We've got bushveld, we've got the ocean, you've got the Karoo, you've got such a wide variety of species. Secondly, the culture among the people. People are so laid back, down to earth. They love community, they invite you into their homes. We have the culture of braais, which so many call barbecues. It's just a place we call home. It's just a whole lot of friendly people that just want to invite you in, and everyone's about having a good time. There's no rat race in that in the Eastern Cape. Everyone's about living slow, living outdoors, enjoying every moment, just celebrating life. So if you want to get out into Africa and you want to have an experience, if you want to do some hunting, if you want to spend some time on some game parks, if you want to just relax, and that's the place to be.
Yeah.
We know people that you guys can hunt with. So drop us an email on africanbornadventures.com or...
Yeah, just to be clear, we're not outfitters, it's not our job, we're not trying to market.
No, we're not.
To make money, but we want the hunting community in Eastern Cape to be supported.
Absolutely.
So that we can keep our wildlife.
Yeah.
And these guys can grow from strength to strength as well and provide a better service.
Yeah, exactly. And Ryan made a great point there, is that if you guys aren't coming to hunt there, then those animals don't have a value, which means those animals are all going to be killed, dairy farms are going to go there, crops are going to come, and when we go back into the Eastern Cape, we're going to be looking at cows and crops, and there won't be any animals. So we need you guys to come and hunt.
Yeah, come and hunt. Get in contact with us. We'll put you in contact with the right guys.
All the guys...
We'll look after you.
Yeah, exactly. The guys that you see on these videos that we hunt with, you guys can hunt with those guys. You can hunt that exact same land.
Sure, yeah.
You can have those experiences that we've had. You guys can come and do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, do you have any more questions?
I think it's your turn, right?
It's mine. I've only got one more question.
Go for it.
This is a good one to end with. I don't know if you want to go. Okay.
Oh, alright. Let's see.
Okay, this is my last question. My questions are tagged out after this. The question is,
Yeah.
you're standing, Ryan Hood,
Mm-hmm.
30 yards
Yeah.
is an impala in front of you,
Yeah.
and out walks an Inyala bull at 18 yards.
Yeah.
The question everyone that's been watching these films is going to ask,
Ooh.
next year, are you going to shoot that?
Oh, I thought it was going to be a why. Why I didn't shoot it. Next year, I'll have to see it.
Yeah, that's
Stay
not a
tuned.
good answer. When he says we have to see it, I'm behind the camera. Okay, you guys got to understand this. In Yala Bull, it's like that's a rare occasion. Standing there,
Yeah.
and the guy doesn't shoot it.
Didn't shoot it.
Although it was going to cost him an arm and a leg.
Well, I mean, that wasn't the primary reason, but I did answer in that video why I didn't shoot it.
He did.
I'm quite one-track mind and one focused, and it irritates a lot of my friends, I think. In that, guys would message me and say, "Oh, have you shot anything yet?" And I'd be like, "No." And they say, "Oh, just go and shoot a pig," And you're like, "No, I'm hunting an impala ram."
Yeah.
And they say, "No, don't be silly. Go and shoot a pig first, or And I'm like, no. Just because it's difficult doesn't mean I'm not going to go and carry on trying, right? So my mind was set on an impala ram there, so that's kind of why the Nyala got a free pass. And as a golfer, I said to the guy that said it to me, when golf gets difficult, I don't ask if I can play off the ladies' tees, right? So you just got to, persist and stick to what you've decided you're going to do.
That's one side of Ryan, and that's something that. So my question is, have you started putting savings away
for next year?
Because the question, okay,
It wasn't like I couldn't afford the Nyala.
so
Could have shot him easily. But
so what Ryan Hood has just said is that he's going to change his mind and arrive at a land saying that he's going after Nyala. So stay tuned. He might be seeing a Nyala next year. I'm holding him to it. 12 grand, he's got the cash. Let's put it...
yeah, it's not about the money. I think that in the back of my head, maybe it was what my wife would say.
No, you had to pass that by first. Otherwise, it could
There's
be a
like
very
this
awkward
filter, right?
conversation.
Yeah, no, because the Nyala is not a very big animal.
Yeah, you're not going to get so much meat from it.
You know, kudu is twice as big as the Nyala.
Yeah, and twice as cheap, possibly.
Well, I mean, for me, it's not about that.
No, it's not about the money, as you said, but...
So, I think your question was, if you had to put me back in those shoes right now, would I shoot the Nyala?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Wouldn't. There we go, we have Ryan Hood. He sticks to his guns, ladies and gentlemen.
Stick to my bow.
Stick to his bow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good answer, I like that. No regrets.
No regrets for that. No, plenty of regrets, but not that.
Not that one. Brilliant, I like that. So we just want to say thanks for watching, and as we always say, please hit the like and subscribe button.
Yeah.
It really goes a long way, and we want to get this out there. We know that the more hunters that are sitting at home on a Friday night and they're watching something on TV that they're probably not that interested in, let's build up this community. Let's build up the hunting, fishing, outdoors. We want the next generation to get involved as well. So
Yeah.
we've got our children that are growing up, and we want to bring them into this environment. And as we said, that this is just a sideline passion that we have. We work other jobs, we're doing other things in society, but we just have this love for nature, we have this love for the outdoors, we have the love for the community of people that just want to get out there and conserve, and we just want to see habitats, animals, well flourishing for our children, our children's children. So that's our heart.
I just saw in this clip I was watching over here, you share with the audience that you've been eating cornflakes all week. Is that the truth?
Piglet steaks on the fire for me. Man, my family ain't going hungry anymore. We're eating cornflakes now.
Perfect spit size.
There might have been a little bit of an over-exaggeration, but I do tell you, I had about 3 days left until I was out of the land of meat, and the reality was I would have been having to buy hormone-injected meat, and we don't eat that. My wife and I, we just don't want to eat that type of food. So the reality was that was my last opportunity to harvest some organic meat. And although the cornflakes is a little bit of an exaggeration, today I possibly would have been eating cornflakes. But I've got some hamburger patties that are organic meat from Africa, something I harvested. So life is good.
Life is good.
Food is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just want to say thanks to you guys for watching, and this is just something that we are passionate about. For myself, I've got a huge heart for the outdoors, for nature. I love animals, I love wildlife, and I know how important hunting is in the effort for conservation. So my real passion is to be able to send this message out, to let it be known to the hunting community, and also to those that aren't familiar with hunting and that aren't familiar with the outdoors. We want to see animals flourishing in the generations to come. We want to see our children growing up in an environment where they can go out into the lands, the farms, into the outdoors, and see, and also this goes on to fishing and the oceans, and we want to see animals flourishing, and we take but we give back so much.
Yeah, it's not just killing.
No,
Right.
so that's the furthest thing from it.
It's not just killing out of a lust because you want to kill something.
Yeah.
It's that meat actually goes into our families, literally.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're putting the best in our children and family members. So, yeah.
Yeah, and more than just going into our family, it's ensuring that those animals have a home, that they are
Looked after.
their numbers are growing, and that jobs are getting created.
Creating the jobs, yeah.
So it's really important, and we're going to be pushing that message more and more through, because we know how important it is, especially in a South African context.
Yeah. Especially in a third world country.
Yeah. So stay tuned, guys. We've got a lot coming. We've got season 2 coming next year, but between now and then we've got Alaska, Mexico, New Zealand, hunting,
jam-packed.
fishing.
It's jam-packed.
We're going to throw in a whole lot of reviews there. We're going to show you guys what we do behind the scenes with our camera equipment, and just stay tuned. We've got a lot coming.
And if you've got any questions for us, throw them at us.
Yeah, write them
And,
down in the comment section.
Maybe we'll have to rehash a few of them in another episode
Absolutely.
like this. And please like and subscribe. It really helps us out.
Yeah.
And we can keep producing more videos like this. Thanks.
Thanks for watching.